Welcome back, baseball fans. Whether you're sipping your coffee or grabbing a cold one, it's time to dive into the wild, unpredictable world of MLB free agency. Trust me, this offseason has had more twists and turns than a playoff game in extra innings. So let's get started. The free agency frenzy. Billions spent. But who's left? The first 69 days of MLB free agency have been nothing short of chaotic. A mind-blowing $2.6 billion has already been spent. But hold on tight, with 5 weeks still left until spring training. Things aren't slowing down anytime soon. The Los Angeles Dodgers have made it rain with big spending, while teams like the New York Mets and Yankees have been grabbing headlines for their big-ticket acquisitions. But here's the kicker. Half of the MLB teams have barely spent a dime compared to those top spenders. It's like everyone's waiting for the season to start before they pull the trigger. And let's not forget about the Minnesota Twins, Miami Marlins, Milwaukee Brewers, St. Louis Cardinals, San Diego Padres, and Seattle Mariners. You all are looking at your wallets wondering when it's your turn to shop. Some teams are sitting on cash. Others are making moves left and right. But there are still gaps in rosters that need to be filled. And that means more dramas ahead. Pete Alonso's future. Mets drama or not? Now, let's talk about Pete Alonso. Mets fans, I'm looking at you. Don't start throwing your hats just yet. The rumor mill is on fire. And we're all asking the same question. Where will Alonso sign? Let's set the stage. Back in 2019, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado held us all in suspense before finally signing their massive $300 million deals. Could we be in for another round of that with Pete Alonso? It's looking like it. Sure, Alonso has hit 226 home runs and is a four-time All-Star. But he didn't exactly have his best season last year. A .788 OPS? Yeah, that's not exactly the kind of number that screams, "Pay me $200 million." The Mets have already shelled out $918.1 million this winter, including that $765 million for Juan Soto. Ouch. That means the Mets are playing hardball with Alonso. They're not willing to break the bank with a long-term contract, at least not right now. But, surprise surprise, there are 8 teams interested in Alonso, including the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. With all the movement at first base this offseason, Alonso might just be the last man standing. Could he return to the Mets on a short-term deal with an opt-out? Stranger things have happened. Alex Bregman. Is this the end of the Astros era? Moving on to another hot topic, Alex Bregman. You'd think that a 2-time World Series champion would be on the verge of signing a big deal. Right? Well, not quite. The Houston Astros made a 6-year, $156 million offer to Bregman. But negotiations have stalled. Now, Bregman is looking for a $200 million deal. And it's safe to say that not many teams are jumping at that price tag. However, the interest is there. The Detroit Tigers are eyeing him, especially with manager A.J. Hinch pushing hard for the deal. If the Tigers land Bregman, they might just become favorites in the AL Central. The Boston Red Sox have been vocal about wanting Bregman too. But they're a little hesitant because Rafael Devers doesn't want to move from third base. Meanwhile, the Toronto Blue Jays are still lurking, hoping they can convince Bregman to join their squad, although we all know how tough it can be to convince a free agent to play in Toronto with those high tax rates. But wait, there's more. The Mets are still in the picture. Some experts believe that if the Mets don't sign Bregman, they might shift to signing Pete Alonso. The Mets have options, but the clock is ticking. Roki Sasaki, the Japanese phenomenon. Let's talk about a name that's been on the tip of everyone's tongue. Roki Sasaki. The 21-year-old Japanese pitching sensation is making waves, and MLB teams are salivating at the chance to bring him over. The Los Angeles Dodgers were long considered the favorites to land him. But now, things are getting interesting. The San Diego Padres are pushing hard to get Sasaki. And it makes sense. They need a strong pitcher to fill a rotation gap after losing Joe Musgrove for the season. If Sasaki wants the spotlight and the chance to win a World Series every year, the Dodgers are still the team. But if he's looking for a quieter market with the chance to play under his mentor Yu Darvish, the Padres might just be the perfect fit. The Padres need Sasaki, and they're in a position where they can't afford to miss out on another postseason. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are ready for anything, and whether they land Sasaki or not, they'll be fine. The Blue Jays struggles, too much money. Not enough players. Alright, we've got a dilemma here, the Toronto Blue Jays. They've thrown around mountains of cash this offseason. But it's like they're playing Monopoly, and no one wants to land on Boardwalk. Juan Soto? Outbid. Corbin Burns? Outbid. Max Fried? Outbid. They've been outspent and outmaneuvered by the bigger spenders. And it's leaving GM Ross Atkins scratching his head. With just $15 million spent in free agency, the Blue Jays are running out of time to make moves. And it's not just the current season they're worried about. They've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette heading to free agency soon. And if they don't lock up Guerrero, he could be out the door in a flash. The gap between the Blue Jays and Vlad's $450 million asking price is huge. And with every passing day, the pressure's mounting. The big questions. Who's still making moves? If you think the offseason drama is over, think again. The Atlanta Braves might have only spent $1.9 million in free agency. But Alex Anthopoulos isn't done yet. You just know he's got something up his sleeve. As for the Seattle Mariners, they're $80 million below the luxury tax. And with the best starting rotation in baseball, they can't afford to waste another year without beefing up the offense. Meanwhile, the San Diego Padres have made no moves. Which is kind of shocking. They're sitting on cash, listening to trade offers, and hoping they can land a big fish like Roki Sasaki. And the San Francisco Giants, after signing Willie Adames, have been pretty quiet. The Chicago Cubs have made some noise with the Kyle Tucker trade. But they still haven't done enough to overtake the Brewers in the NL Central. Wrapping it up, the countdown to spring training. With so much still up in the air, the next few weeks are going to be absolutely thrilling. Will Pete Alonso sign a big deal? Will Bregman get the contract he's after? And what about Sasaki? Will the Padres win out? Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the drama is far from over. Before I go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We've got a lot more content coming your way, and you won't want to miss out on the next chapter of MLB free agency. See you in the next video. And remember, it's always a good time for a little baseball drama. Hey, what's up, baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you love all things MLB. We've got some spicy free agency news coming your way today. So grab your snacks and let's dive into the latest buzz around Pete Alonso. So, let's talk about Pete Alonso, the polar bear himself, who is still out there on the free agent market. And yes, you guessed it, he's making some serious noise as one of the top power hitters available. But here's the catch. There's a sizable gap between him and the New York Mets when it comes to contract talks. Now,